Hey, welcome to your House of Mirrors. This is a cut through the chase reflection. Sometimes I might sound pessimistic as hell, and I won't apologize for it because this is my truth. All I'm doing is lay my heart bare within this sentimental river I poured on these pages, for this is all I ever think about. With that, this should serve as your last warning before you step foot into this house of bitter truths. Through my crooked lens, as I walk through the streets and see this one security guy, he's in his 40s, maybe 50s. At first glance, I think he's good where he's at. He has everything. I mean, all he does is sit and watch people move up and about. Maybe he has a family to provide for, but at least he has a job, guaranteed monthly income. Sure, it's not enough, but he can bear around with it like he's been doing for the past decade. Better than my unemployed bum wandering around the streets, to be honest. In the afternoon, and coincidentally, I come across this lady. She operates a beauty product store, sits there all day scrolling her phone. She gets a few clients, a monthly pay, pays the bills, rinse, repeat, yada yada. Lives to see another day. I would say she's comfortable. I mean, she complains about her life now and then, but at least she can afford a ride from work straight to her doorstep or through rinse, repeat. She has a TV she barely watches because she always gets home exhausted. She's got someone to do her laundry over the weekend, so that's not a bother. He invites her friends over a few times. She's what you'd call an independent woman. To me, what else could she need? At night, there is this guy in a plaza store. He deals in electronics, phones, accessories, that kind of stuff. He just bought a bike. It's a good beast. It comes close to his mama in the church list, if you know what I mean. It's really a manifestation of his dreams in the flesh. He rents an apartment, of course has a girlfriend. The first thing he responds when someone asks him about his life, he'll probably start cussing out the government. Then the hustle anthem, broken record lines of how life's bleak and no rest for an ordinary man like him. And ironically, both are true. However, he almost always fails to point out the fact that he's saving up for his dream car and his plans of calming down his girlfriend's nerves by marrying her off sometime next year. Now that's ironic. Well, I find my way back home and there's probably a politician in an expensive suit on the screen, perhaps talking about how hard of a hill he has to climb, but he will do it for the good of society.
Listen, I'm a politician, which means I'm a cheat and a liar. And when I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops.
Yikes. Though I can't stop thinking about these three people that I meet on a daily. Thinking about how none of them might actually genuinely have a tenth of a percentage of a chance of making it greater. Now that gets to me. Yeah, part of it is their own making, and we'll get into that. But for now, let's do some pondering. When I think about immense wealth and how rich I would love to be, two things are clear to me. First, everyone wants that too. Second, and most importantly, everyone thinks they deserve it. They work too hard, they pray and believe too hard. But I want you to pause and think about this hypothetical for a second, where everyone in the world earns just enough, to the point that it's not even logical to second guess the price. A scenario where life's comfortable, meals get delivered, laundry's done, entertainment is at a moment's notice. You can fly out virtually anywhere, at any grand event. You can walk in any room while others wait in line. I can go on and on and on, but you can realize probably by now that we have a teeny tiny problem. Everyone's wealthy now. Everyone's exclusive. So, by definition, no one is really exclusive. When I imagine being rich, I imagine having a butler 24/7 who caters for my family and my personal needs. You know, that kind of thing. And of course not, you're not a bad person for needing someone to give away their entire lives to cater for yours. It's just a small human condition I like to call ideal personal freedom. Okay, here comes a great question. Which rich person do you know of would really love to give up their abundant life to cater for yours? Exactly. I'm not really good at math, but I'm quite sure that answer is close to zero. Now, I know someone might be thinking to themselves at this point, everything will be automated. We'll have robots and everything will be sorted. Next topic, please. Well, as much as I love simple solutions, this might not be one. We humans have this thing called showing off and being better than others. So what happens when every toy, every material possession you can have, another person can just simply have it too? Secondly, machines give a whole experience. The satisfaction of being served and the interaction with a real human is second to none. I can imagine people will make more exclusive products for a few to own and try to create this manufactured eliteness. But while everyone has the ability to throw money around at whatever flashy thing, don't you think money will basically lose its value? And not to mention the ones that are making these products will probably wonder, what's even the purpose of it all, sitting on mountains of worthless cash? Then, to the existential catastrophe, which is, if everyone is born with the right to eternal financial security, like waking up and there's virtually no threat of starvation, no need to lift a finger, what kind of boredom would prevail in those penthouses, in those mansions? I mean, case in point, this is what comes to mind when I think of the Middle Eastern countries of Qatar and Kuwait. Bear with me. Qatar, for example, has a population of just above 400,000 native Qataris. And according to GDP, each adult is worth well above 100,000 US dollars. This is already quite impressive, but these numbers factor in expatriate labor, which accounts for way more than half of their total population. People who come into work. I'm not going to dwell in the figures at all, but if we look into Qatar's sovereign wealth and how many people they actually have to cater for, we are talking about each Qatari virtually having access to millions. These people can quite literally fly to any country, lounge in the best hotels, and attend the most exclusive stuff without a dent in their finances, at least the way I see it. Yet they are probably investing more and actually earning more. I can whine about how dystopian that already is and how hollow their hearts must be after trying all the world's finest things, but I've never met any of these men in the flesh. Perhaps they're having the best times of their lives along with their big pies, who knows? My point though still stands, that these people still have one thing that makes their lives worth the buck, which is an entire ocean of people on the other side of the world, desperate to do anything their heart desires for a decent pay. Think about that for a second. The people in this day and age who have the access to millions have the advantage of people who still find money valuable, enough to break a back for, enough to entertain for. Reminds me of that part in my favorite show, Interview with a Vampire.
What about Antoinette? It's different. I don't have feelings for her.
He did me some face and I drove him home. I heard you outstanding! You watched the whole thing like some creeper. And then I watched you pull over and drain a dog and run down an alleyway for 2 more rats. This is not a...
For anyone who doesn't know this show, it's about 2 vampires. It's about vampires in general, but specifically these 2, Armand and Louis. They've lived for about hundreds of years at this point, and at this point in the movie, they are living in this penthouse in Dubai. They are quite rich. I mean, anyone who's lived for this long on the planet Earth would be really foolish not to be rich, which plays perfectly well in my topic here. So they are rich enough to do this exact thing I'm going to explain in the scene. Okay, vampires, they love this good old blood, but for some reason, these 2, Armand and Louis, are actually civilized enough to hunt for people and suck their blood. So what Armand does, he gets a random guy off the dark web willing to be sucked of their blood for a crap load of Bitcoin, and they pay handsomely for it. Here's the thing though, this little scene right here depicts 2 of some of the most important human conditions. Number one, how humans are willing to go for the money. Secondly, and most importantly, how the rich know they have the leverage. Just to hint on my main point, do you really think anyone would be willing to risk their lives if they were just as wealthy? I mean, there is passion and all, but personally, I wouldn't put my life in the hands of a vampire. It's fiction, but there's a lot to this world we don't know about. Now, down to the conclusion, this is going to tie everything together. This is what I think the universe does. I believe the universe makes sure that there's always a balance on both sides. The workers and the slaves, the have and the have-nots. It's not merely a point of morality, it's a point of efficiency. The machine simply has to run.